been living like a dog. That's the truth no one wants to tell you. You wake up every day chained to comfort. You look in the mirror and see a version of yourself that craves validation, that wants to be told it's enough, that it's doing great. But it's not. You're not doing great. You're surviving, existing, numbing, barking without ever biting. That's the dog inside you. The part that's soft when life demands hardness. That wags its tail at people who have disrespected you. That rolls over to avoid confrontation. That licks the hands of those who've hurt you, just to keep the peace. This version of you is obedient to fear, loyal to weakness, always looking for shelter, for safety, for someone else to take charge. You wait for things to change, for people to notice you, for life to hand you what you haven't earned. But here's the truth. Life doesn't reward the domesticated. It rewards the dangerous. And the dog in you, it's been domesticated, softened, broken in by years of lies that told you being good is enough, that being kind gets you ahead, that being humble is noble. But the world doesn't respect nice. The world respects strength. The kind of strength that doesn't ask, it takes. The dog inside you fears solitude. It panics when it's not part of the pack. It follows instead of leads. It obeys instead of questions. And worst of all, it forgives too easily. It lets betrayal slide. It lets comfort win. It lowers its standards to stay accepted. You've been conditioned to believe that submission is virtue, that fitting in is survival, that playing it safe will protect you. But it doesn't. It kills you slowly, quietly. Every time you say yes when you mean no. Every time you hide your truth to avoid rejection. Every time you stay quiet when your instincts scream. That's the dog, scared to offend, scared to walk alone, scared to demand more. You've let that version of you lead for too long. The one that gets knocked down and stays there, whining about fairness. The one that watches opportunities go by, too afraid to chase. The one that blames the world instead of mastering it. And worst of all, the one that trades greatness for comfort every single day. You don't need more comfort. You need more pressure, more pain, more fire. Because only fire burns away the weak parts. Only fire reveals what's real beneath the surface. And when you remove all the noise, what's left is the dog. That soft, reactive, approval-hungry part of you that's kept you tame when you were born to be wild. The world isn't interested in tameness. It's interested in dominance, clarity, and execution. The dog was never built for war. It was built to follow. But you weren't. You were never meant to follow. You were meant to lead, but only once the dog in you is gone. The wolf is not a symbol of brutality. It's not about violence for the sake of fear. It's about survival, dominance, and understanding that the world plays by rules you were never taught in school. The wolf is strategic. The wolf is aware. It knows when to move, when to strike, when to disappear, and when to lead. While the dog barks at shadows and wags its tail at strangers, the wolf stays silent, watching everything, waiting for the moment where action matters. That's the difference between the weak and the strong. The weak want to be seen and loved all the time. The strong are willing to be misunderstood if it means getting the job done. The wolf doesn't chase noise. It operates in silence. It doesn't seek attention. It demands respect, not through words but through presence. That's what Machiavelli understood. He didn't celebrate cruelty. He celebrated precision. He didn't preach ruthlessness. He taught awareness. Awareness of how people move, how they lie, how they manipulate, how they try to disarm you with kindness while sharpening the knife behind their backs. And the wolf sees that. The wolf doesn't fall for smiles and soft words. It looks at intention, pattern, movement. It learns people before it trusts them. And even then, it's never caught sleeping. The dog wants to be liked. It needs approval. It fears being alone. The wolf thrives in solitude. It uses that time to sharpen the mind, discipline the body, and forge a mindset that's bulletproof. It doesn't scroll through fake lives wishing for something better. It's out there building it, one scar, one victory, one decision at a time. People think the wolf is cold. No, it's clear. Clear on what matters. Clear on who it is. Clear on where it's going. That clarity is what makes it dangerous. Not because it's violent, but because it cannot be manipulated. It cannot be bought with compliments or broken with rejection. That's what the world fears. Someone who doesn't need them. The wolf can smell weakness, not in others, in itself. And when it finds it, it doesn't make excuses. It doesn't complain, it eliminates it. It adapts. It evolves. That's why Machiavelli would never speak to the dog in you. That part of you that just wants to feel good, to be accepted, to avoid hard truths and live in soft delusion. Machiavelli didn't write for the comfortable. He wrote for the calculating. For the one who understands that life is a game, not of chance, but of strategy. The wolf plays to win, not just to participate. It understands the cost of weakness. It understands that to be respected, you must first become someone worthy of respect, not through status or image, but through discipline and action. The wolf doesn't need to bark. Its silence is loud enough. Its movement is deliberate. Its vision is locked in. While the rest of the world is busy pretending, the wolf is preparing. Not for acceptance, but for dominance. Machiavelli never placed his faith in the goodness of people. He understood the brutal nature of reality, the hidden motives behind smiles, the betrayal that often comes from those closest to you. He wasn't trying to teach people how to be virtuous. He was trying to teach them how to survive, how to lead, how to win. That's why he wrote The Prince. Not as a book of hope, but as a manual for those willing to see the world without illusions. The world does not reward your good heart. It doesn't care how nice you are. It doesn't give trophies to the most honest or pats on the back for playing fair. It gives power to the calculated. It gives survival to the disciplined. And it gives success to those who understand that kindness without strength is a liability. We've been lied to. Told that if we're good, good things will come. Told that if we're generous, life will be generous in return. But Machiavelli saw through all of it. He saw how power really works. He saw how people shift like the wind. How loyalty fades the moment it's no longer convenient. How followers praise a leader when things are going well and abandon him the second they sense weakness. He saw how the masses respond to fear more than love, to strength more than kindness, and to control more than compassion. And that's why he taught power the way he did, not as a moral lesson, but as a necessity. You want to believe that doing the right thing will protect you. That turning the other cheek will earn you respect. That staying humble will eventually lead to recognition. But that's the dog talking. The part of you that wants the world to be fair. The wolf knows better. The wolf doesn't expect fairness. It expects resistance. It expects betrayal. It expects the storm. That's why it's prepared. That's why it walks with sharp instincts and a sharper edge. It doesn't wait for the world to recognize its worth. It commands its own value through presence, execution, and unapologetic clarity. Machiavelli would look at your desperation to be liked and see weakness. He would see your reluctance to demand more as fear. He would see your soft approach to leadership as a setup for failure. Because in the real world, people don't follow the kindest voice in the room. They follow the strongest, the one with vision, the one with backbone, the one who knows when to be merciful and when to be merciless. That's the difference between those who lead and those who are led, between those who build empires and those who serve inside them. It's not about being evil. It's about being effective. It's about mastering the art of control, of knowing how to move pieces on the board while others are still learning the rules. Machiavelli didn't teach cruelty. He taught clarity. He taught that behind every handshake could be a hidden knife, that behind every alliance could be a ticking clock. That to protect what matters, you must be willing to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Most people live as slaves to their emotions. They react before they think. They get angry when they should be calm, soft when they should be sharp, silent when they should speak. They simply withdraw loud when they should listen. That's the difference between the ones who get played and the ones who play the game. Emotional control isn't some luxury mindset hack. It's survival. It's power. It's the line between being the prey and being the predator. Machiavelli didn't believe in blind rage or reckless passion. He believed in calculated moves, in discipline over impulse, in knowing how to feel without being ruled by those feelings. Because once someone can control your emotions, they control you. You see it every day. People giving away their power because they can't handle discomfort. Someone insults them and they lash out. Someone betrays them and they crumble. Someone rejects them and they start questioning their worth. That's not strength. That's submission to emotion. That's slavery to impulse. And Machiavelli would have nothing but contempt for that kind of weakness. He understood that power is silent, focused, and dangerous. Not explosive, not dramatic, but consistent and relentless. The ones who master themselves, who can hold the line under pressure, who can think clearly when everyone else is panicking, those are the ones who win. Most people think discipline is about getting up early or working out. That's surface level. Real discipline is emotional. It's the ability to not let your feelings dictate your direction, It's not letting a bad moment turn into a bad day. It's walking into a room full of disrespect and keeping your posture, keeping your eye on the mission, not the noise. That's what separates leaders from followers. You think your outbursts make you strong. No, they make you predictable. They make you controllable. A master of self can't be baited, can't be lured off path, can't be broken by opinions or praise or pain. Machiavelli saw the world through a lens of reality, not fantasy. He knew that feelings would betray you long before your enemies ever could. And if you let them steer the wheel, you'll crash every time. Power belongs to those who can remain unmoved, who can listen to praise without becoming arrogant, who can take criticism without becoming bitter, who can be surrounded by chaos and still move like it's quiet. That's the level of internal control Machiavelli respected, because that's the level of control required to lead, to command, to survive. People say follow your heart. Machiavelli would say control it first. People say trust your feelings. He'd say test them before you believe them, because not every feeling is true. Not every emotion deserves a reaction, and not every trigger needs to be pulled just because it's there. You have to build a mind that's sharp like steel, not soft like sand. A mind that knows how to pause, assess, and act, not react. That's how you become untouchable. That's how you stop bleeding every time the world throws a punch. They simply withdraw. That's how you lead without crumbling under the weight of your own emotions. The world doesn't care if you're nice. It doesn't care if your intentions are pure, if your heart is good, or if you mean well. It responds to power, to presence, to the kind of person who walks into a room and commands attention without asking for it. Not because they shout, not because they beg, but because they've built themselves into someone who's earned it. Respect isn't given freely. It's taken, earned, demanded through action and force of will. And fear, the right kind of fear, is a powerful weapon. Not fear of violence, but fear of what you represent. Fear of the standard you hold. Fear of the consequences of crossing you. That's what Machiavelli meant when he said it's better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Love is conditional. People love you until you say something they don't agree with, until you hold them accountable, until you stop catering to their comfort. But fear, healthy fear, endures. It's not about bullying. It's about establishing that you are not to be played with, that you have boundaries, that you know your value, that crossing you comes with a price. Most people don't have that. They're too busy people-pleasing, too desperate to be liked, too afraid to stand alone. But Machiavelli knew that leaders can't afford to be soft. Leaders must sometimes walk alone, make unpopular choices, and enforce decisions others are too weak to make. The dog in you wants to be loved. It wants to be accepted. It wants to make everyone happy, even at the cost of its own peace. It avoids confrontation. It avoids risk. It avoids making enemies. But you can't rise without resistance. You can't lead without friction. You can't become great while trying to be everyone's friend. The wolf doesn't care about being liked. It cares about being respected. It doesn't bark for attention. It watches, waits, then moves with force and precision. That's power. That's what people remember. Not the loudest voice in the room, but the one who doesn't flinch when things get dark. The one who sets the tone, not follows it. People will test you. They'll cross your lines just to see if they exist. If you don't enforce your standards, if you don't respond when they disrespect you, you train them to keep doing it. Every time you let it slide, every time you laugh it off, every time you stay silent to keep the peace, you teach them that you're not serious. They simply withdraw. The wolf doesn't tolerate that. The wolf doesn't beg for respect. It demands it, and it gets it because it's proven that there will be consequences otherwise. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. And people respect clarity more than kindness. They trust consistency more than charm. They follow strength, not sweetness. You don't need to bark louder. You need to bite when it counts. You need to show that beneath the calm is steel. That you are not to be provoked, not because you'll explode, but because you'll execute without hesitation. That's what Machiavelli knew. That's what the world respects. Not noise, but power. Not intentions, but results. Not popularity, but presence. The world isn't looking for another obedient dog. It's watching for the rise of the wolf. You've spent too long begging for approval, too long hiding your fire, too long playing by rules written to keep you soft, small, and silent. That ends now. Machiavelli didn't speak to the masses. He spoke to the few who were willing to do what it takes. The few who could silence emotion, destroy weakness, and lead with ruthless clarity. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to dominate your lane, command your space, and carve your legacy with action, not excuses. Kill the dog in you. Awaken the wolf, walk with purpose, strike with precision, and never, never ask for permission again.